decade after the plane disappeared. In a statement released today, the court says 47 other lawsuits were withdrawn after the families settled outside of court. Flight MH370 disappeared in 2014 while traveling from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing with 239 people on board. The search for the wreckage of Malaysia Airlines MH370 will resume on the 30th of December. Gold is trading at $4,209.65 an ounce. The rand is at 16.98 to the dollar, 22.61 to the pound, 19.78 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $63.75 a barrel.
Slow-moving traffic leaving the Pretoria CBD, that's in the Hermanstad area on Eskiam-Pahlele between Van der Hof and the R80, and heading in and out of the Joburg CBD. Traffic sluggish Main Reef Road between Anderson and Church Street.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng with scattered showers and thundershowers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 26 and 28 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. The National Consumer Commission has issued another vehicle recall, this time affecting the Jeep Wrangler vehicles and various Kia models.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Ever tried to pick insurance and just zoned out? Too much jargon, too many options, too many open tabs. Enter Vouch. Vouch connects you with real, independent advisors who help you compare quotes from SA's top insurers, who explain things clearly and who guide you through it all. No spam, no pressure, just honest advice and cover that fits your life. Vouch. Someone on the inside, on your side. Vouch SA is an authorized financial services provider. T's and C's apply.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Minutes after 1 o'clock, welcome to 702 Afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja, and my award-winning team. We got to take home Best Talk Show at a Commercial Station Award at this weekend's South African Telkom Radio Awards, and we are so grateful. Thank you to my producer, Pashida. Thank you to my technical producer, Abel. Thank you to all of the people who stand in when I'm not around, to our EWN contributors like Mbali and Karabo. Thank you so much to all our contributors like your Wendy and your Gabby and your Adelaide and your Phil and your Nickel. So many of the contributors that form part of the show and our guests who come through. And most importantly, thank you to all of you, our listeners, to be taking the award for Best Talk Show in South Africa. In Umzansi, in Cyril, South Africa, guys. Man, what a way to end the year. I'm so proud and I'm so excited. And talk is nothing, of course, without all of you engaging, listening. There are many of you who don't necessarily ever phone or even contact a radio station, but we appreciate your ears and choosing to be in company with us. And of course, congratulations to all of the Prime Media family winners. My fantastic colleague and friend Mandy Wiener, who took home an award for Best News and Actuality Show, so well deserved. And our family at 947 KFM, Cape Talk, and Prime Media all round, congratulations. And then to the rest of the industry, man, so many of you did well. And I have to give a special shout out to Mongezi Koko, who took on for I'm a Rising Star, what, that's the one you need to look out for. Doing so well, already started standing in for Mandy Wiener. And then the iconic Nothemba who hosts music on the weekends, who's been inducted into the SA Radio Awards Hall of Fame. So congratulations to everybody. We don't come in every day thinking about awards, but when they happen, you're like, thank you for recognizing the work that we do. And of course, to Telkom as the sponsors who still believe in radio as a platform. Radio is not dying. It's not going anywhere. It continues to grow. So it's been a beautiful weekend. We got to celebrate with one another. Now we're back here today on this Monday, the 8th of December. We are going to have an interesting show coming up. And this might become a little bit sensitive and touchy. But I want to know from all of you, what do you believe some families actually need this Christmas instead of exchanging gifts? What do some families actually need from one another this Christmas? Is it forgiveness? Is it revealing all of the hidden secrets that have been kept hidden away? Is it making peace? Maybe it is letting people be. So instead of exchanging gifts, what are the other beautiful things that families can do with one another this Christmas? You can also say, my family could do with leaving each other alone. So what is an alternative to exchanging gifts? I don't even know how many people have budgets to be exchanging gifts for Christmas in this economy. Movies and What to Stream, Adelaide Moeng will join us for that, award-winning camera operator, but also founder of Movies and Stuff SA. We are so building up this list. We are building it up of the things we need to binge watch. There's so much going on our screen, so we'll tune in for that. And obviously, we look forward to each and every one of your movie, series, documentary, old or new recommendations. Our travel feature, Gabby Brondani, joins us, another one of our fabulous contributors, travel correspondent. We'll be chatting about the 5 reasons to travel by train on your next overseas holiday. That is something I still not have done on my bucket list. If you're thinking, oh, Relebogile just finished her 40 before 40, I did not. I am still continuing. I am ticking. I just need to do a whole updated list and everything. But I am riding this wave of feeling like I'm going through a beautiful rebirth of sorts, and I get to experience a life in a very positive way. The second hour of the show, in our parenting and parents camp, guys, there is a discipline camp for kids. Parents, let me know if you think that you need your kids to go to a discipline camp. We are going to be chatting to Prince Muklo, who's Emperor General Camp Master of Discipline Camp and the founder and CEO of Rising Stars Generation. I'm so looking forward to having that conversation and to really hear from the parents how you are dealing with discipline in the era that we live in at the moment. Then we have the naked scientist, Dr. Chris Smith. He has been a contributor to the station for years and years and years, since the time that I think I was still in school listening to Ridi Kaibi, who back then was Direko. So Dr. Chris Smith will join us as well, and we take all of your science-related questions. So get in touch with us, 011 883 0702, SMS us 31702, tweet at Relebogile M, at Radio 702, using the hashtag 702 Afternoons, and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702 Afternoons
With Relebogile Mabotja.
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Okay, my aunt sent me something this morning, which credit and kudos to her, really inspired this conversation that we're having today. I don't remember the last time Christmas became about gifts prior to becoming a mom, because obviously when you have a child, you try to make their childhood and their upbringing really special. But Christmas presents stopped a long time ago, including the aparos like Christmas. Even though I do try to look cute on Christmas, I wouldn't necessarily get a new outfit, but I might get like Christmas tree earrings or whatever the case may be. So I thought this is such an interesting conversation we could have with one another, especially because Christmas is not what it used to be. The economy is not where it was. Many people are struggling financially. Many people are unemployed. And many people don't necessarily place value into Christmas gifts like that, even though they gather. But listen to this, which was sent to my aunt, Duku. And it says, some families don't need to exchange gifts for Christmas. They need to settle old disputes, make peace, forgive, seek unity, and heal. That is the real gift. And I was very touched by that because I know that many people are struggling with certain challenges in their families. I'm not a believer that everything is all about make peace and put things aside or shove things under the carpet. Sometimes what some families need is space from each other. But I would love to hear from each and every one of you what you believe families need this Christmas. You can speak of your own or what you have observed. I'm going to start with a list that I think could apply to many, many different families. I'm going to start with my first one of what I think many families could do with exchanging this Christmas particularly is some kindness and grace, right? I have seen many conversations of people who say they're stressed out being the only breadwinner, and I don't feel appreciated or seen. I've seen conversations from people saying being the unemployed person, getting stared down at because you're going to the fridge, being the person who is not having a child and I'm in my 40s, being the person who has not lost weight or gained weight again this year, being the person who remains in the same position, no promotion, no changes, being the person who is still sitting in a difficult, challenging, possibly loveless marriage, being the person who has to go and face people that aren't necessarily in your everyday, day-to-day life, but participate in commenting and being referees over the decisions you make in your life. And I think kindness and grace for many can go a very, very long way. And if we could exchange that, and let me be clear, I don't think everybody needs a kindness and grace, which means you dismiss the way they've treated you or how they have behaved around you or treated your children. I think sometimes kindness and grace means loving them from afar. Sometimes that's what it is. Sometimes some people, as I said, need space from one another. And the space from one another looks like not necessarily participating in each other's lives the way you used to, for whatever reason. Sometimes what families need for Christmas is time with themselves. That's it. Khote mamela. I never know the correct translation for khote mamela, but to listen to oneself, to process whatever is happening in your life and to deal with whatever is happening in your body. Listen to what is going on. Catch up with yourself. And sometimes that means not having to put yourself in a position where you are forced to now mingle with people that don't treat you very well. So I want to hear from all of you. 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. What do some families need this Christmas instead of exchanging gifts?
You're listening to 702 Afternoons
With Relebogile Mabotja
winner for the best talk show
at the Telkom Radio Awards.
All right, I'm heading over to Facebook, and here are some of your comments to the questions that we are asking, really around what it is you believe some families need this Christmas instead of exchanging gifts. What can they exchange? What is it that they are able to share with one another? 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. Heading over to the 702 Facebook page. Isaac Jordan says, love, peace, unity, food, clothing. Some people do need it. Indeed, they do. And those that have, share if you are able to. I actually saw a woman who was posting, and this was just with regards to Thanksgiving in the US. She had cooked so much food. It looked like food that could accommodate 25 people. So much food, so many dishes, so many sides, so many options. So she's crying that nobody pitched up to her Thanksgiving But the thought that came to me, like, girl, I know you're disappointed, but maybe this is the year that it was your opportunity to go out, feed the homeless or go to an orphanage. I don't know what it is. Sometimes it'd be like that. Yes, that was Thanksgiving, but that's very much how we celebrate our Christmas and festive year. Gloria Mbata says some families need good and healthy communication. Amen to that. Tagana Stanley Mulebale says, just the braai, I think. We are not doing that bad. I think a small, intimate braai. That's also very decent, right? It's very social. You hang out with one another. Being able to just have an intimate, decent, simple braai also works. Mutsamai Mokhojo says love and time is what some families need. And I'm pretty sure that there are many, many people who find themselves also feeling like, hey, time, quality time, not just any time, quality time. One Nete says, I'm in need of food and clothing, something else that people are experiencing out there. Angela Mpana says, I need my mom. She passed away on the 2nd of February, 2025. The whole family is gone. I am the only one left. Yo, Angela, I'm so sorry for your loss and for what it is that you've gone through, losing a parent, losing a mother. It sounds like one of the worst things a person can ever experience in their lifetime. And now to have to go through a festive season and a Christmas without your mom. I really hope and pray you're able to have a support that gathers around you, your own tribe that you can make as family. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I am thinking about the fact that so many people, what they do wish they could have this festive are loved ones. Like the grandmother who was holding the family together and having everybody gather by her home, and she is no more. Gerard Hellings says, sunny weather for a month. Oh, I could so do with sunny weather for a month, definitely. Tanyani Ratsibai says, reconciliation is what some families need. Reconciliation. Michael Brown says, peaceful environment, home-cooked meals, and love. And really, it is that simple. In many occasions, Kunedi Mohaka says love and food. I'm down for that one. Tepo Mutibedi says unity, love, and peace. Nomaswazi Mutawung says spending quality time with all my loved ones. And then we have Lulu M.O. who says reconciliation and unity. Debbie Clifford says peace, peace, peace. Clayton Sibanda says peace as well. Sahika Enver says they need Jesus. Some families need Jesus. Okay. Master Shai says they need a meeting. Do you guys really want the family meeting? Do you guys really and seriously want the family meeting during festive season? I'm looking at the WhatsApp line. One says, let me just check. Hi, Relebogile. This is from Perry and Midrand. I think some families need to listen to December by Sjava. Great song to reflect and reset for families going through issues. Thank you so much for that message, Perry. And another person with their messages coming through says, oh, some families need Jesus. Another person saying some families need Jesus. Shelly Swart on Facebook says, I know a family that has nothing. I would love for someone to bless them with a special Christmas meal and a few gifts. They have nothing, and I wish nothing more than a surprise for them. Oh, that is coming through on Facebook. Let's see if anybody comes through and responds and is able to assist Shelly Swart with that particular family that she's saying she would absolutely love to help and to come through with. But what we are going to do, and Jabu says, braai, eat, talk, and dance. I'm down for the dancing and the music. Definitely down for the braaiing and the meat and all the good things that come with it. We have something for you guys. We don't do this often. because we're a talk show. But we also love music and we also like to celebrate. This is what we chose for our radio win.
Started at the bottom, but I'm ending right on top. No one can hold me back. I'm never gonna stop. Your love is all I need to see me through my day. Come closer, baby. Let me chase the blues away. Ain't nothing stopping us. We're reaching for the top. Ain't nothing stopping us. We're reaching for love. Ain't nothing stopping us. Baby, ain't nothing stopping us from taking love and higher, higher, oh higher, oh baby, higher, higher. Baby, take me in higher, higher, no higher, oh higher and higher, higher, higher and higher. Oh no, wake me up. Oh no, baby, take higher. Oh no, take me up. Oh no, take me higher. Ain't nothing stopping us. We're reaching for the top. Ain't nothing stopping us. We're reaching for love. Ain't nothing stopping us. We're reaching for the sky. Ain't nothing stopping us from taking love and higher, higher, no higher. Oh baby, higher, higher. Baby, take me higher, higher, no higher, higher, higher,
Ain't nothing stopping us higher and higher with Brenda Fassie. Coming to you from South Africa's best talk show on radio. Kirena man, all of us together. And thank you so much for your messages. Let's see how we can really use these last 2 weeks of the year to make an impact and continue to build and grow this platform. It's 1:30. Time for your latest eyewitness news headlines. Good afternoon, Mboli. How do you feel being on South Africa's best talk show?
Like a winner, like a winner,
Like a winner, darling. Yes, good afternoon.
Thanks, Relebogile. A very good afternoon. Residents of Soulsville in Pretoria West are still reeling from a mass shooting that claimed the lives of 12 people, including 3 minors. On Saturday, 3 gunmen stormed a tavern at the Soulsville hostel and opened fire. A total of 25 people were shot, with minors aged 3, 12 and 16 amongst those killed. The National Consumer Commission has issued another vehicle recall, this time affecting the Jeep Wrangler vehicles and various Kia models. This after Stellantis South Africa informed the Commission that it is recalling 323 Jeep Wrangler vehicles. According to the supplier, the dust inside the clock spring could compromise airbag circuits. And Freedom Under Law has submitted an objection to the nomination of Menzi Simelane to seek reappointment as the National Director of Public Prosecutions. Simelane is the last of 6 candidates who will face interviewers for 2 days this week. A selection panel appointed by the president is looking for a candidate to replace Shamila Batoyi, who retires next month. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 2 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Hermanstad, there you can expect delays leaving the Pretoria CBD. That's on Eskiam Pahlele between Van der Hof and the R80. Also heading in and out of the Joburg CBD. Traffic remains sluggish on Main Reef Road between Anderson and Church Street. Otherwise, the rest of 702 land looking pretty good. No serious accidents have been reported. Just look out for those faulty traffic lights though in the Sunning Hill area at Rivonia and Witkoppen. Poles at Witkoppen and Main, as well as in Edenville at Modderfontein Road and Van Riebeek. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
Listen, Karabo.
Yes, ma'am.
You are now doing traffic on an award-winning show.
I've been.
I'm just saying, the bar is here now. I know it's December, but you're not allowed to relax. The song needs a higher and higher. We only have today for the same standard, and then tomorrow.
You expect
Yes.
Noted.
And you are the only. I actually did mention you.
Oh, you
to
did?
say the EWN folks as well that are on our show, riding on our curtails.
Contribute, Baba.
EWN Traffic.
Clement Maniatella,
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
What would be your advice for the Madlanga Commission? How should they approach the issue of witness protection? Because what we are being told is that they did offer some protection for witness D, for Marius, and he said, well, he works in the security industry. He didn't need that. What would be your advice?
We don't have to go to the extreme of witness protection programs, creating pseudo-identities, creating safe houses in different provinces. That's overkill. So if they are able to protect politicians who aren't living in secrecy, then perhaps we need to look at something similar. Nobody really wants to go into a witness protection program in South Africa because their life is completely in turmoil.
Chad Thomas, crime expert and organized crime investigator.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
Check in, take your seat, stretch out, sip something special, and feel the holiday mood kick in long before you land. At South African Airways, every moment on board is designed to ease you into the holiday feeling. This summer, fly to Gaborone from 2,694 Rand, all-inclusive return, and with an allowance of 3 checked bags, you can take everything you need for the perfect escape. This offer is valid for sale until the 31st of March 2026. Book at flysaa.com or contact your nearest travel agent. At South African Airways, your holiday starts when your flight does.
Sure, your phone's from there. Your kids' toys? Definitely. But your SUV? No thanks. The Mini Countryman from 9,899 Rand per month with Mini Select Finance. Visit mini.co.za to book your test drive. Select offer only available from Mini Financial Services, a division of BMW Financial Services South Africa Pty Limited, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider. Offer exclusively applies to the Mini Countryman. Initiation and service fee apply. Offer linked to the current prime rate. Calculated on a 10% deposit, 48 monthly installments, final GFV payment, and 80,000 kilometer contract limit. Changes to the deal and optional extras will impact finance offer. Offer valid until 31 December. Subject to stock availability. T's and C's apply.
This festive, when your family gathers, feed them the Nando's Festive Phillip meal. feed auntie who's in charge of the key to that storeroom. And feed that niece that makes the strict grandparents do TikTok challenges. And that cousin that watches the same movie that comes in part 1, 2, 3, 4 and many more. Yeah, you can feed it too. Gather them all for the Nando's Festive Fill-Up meal for only $3.99. Eat at Nando's and pay 40 Rand less. Nando's, oh, what a place.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
A very wet November, if I may say. I presume that's one of the reasons farmers are so confident.
Stephen, rain brings grain. Grain farmers, oilseed farmers, fruit, as well as the vegetable ones, they've had a good season. And I'm talking now about the 2024-25 production season. But even now, looking ahead, it looks like things will be good for us.
Owandile Seklobo, the chief economist at the Agricultural Business Chamber.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show, Stephen Curtis, is brought to you by ABSA CIB. Invested in your story because your story matters. ABSA is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
702 Movies.
23 minutes to 2 o'clock. Movies and what to stream. Time 011 8830702. The WhatsApp line 0727021702. Take out your notebooks. Take out your pens if you're still analoguing. If you're digitaling, open your digital notebooks because we are putting together our things to watch this festive season. Adelaide Moyeng, founder of Movies and Stuff SA, find her on the social so you can also catch up with all the other work that she's doing. Welcome to the award-winning show. Thanks for coming.
I just wanted to start off by saying congratulations.
Which finger is the clocked finger? Because this one.
Yes.
Is that your pinky and thumb?
No, my fingers are just short.
What? Wait, let me see. These ones. No, girl. Apparently, there's a difference between this.
Oh, no. Okay, have I been doing it wrong this entire time?
Your index finger looks like a pinky. I just realized now.
I know, right? Like, everything about me is short, including my height. But I've made peace with it. But I really just wanted to congratulate you guys. Amazing work. I feel so privileged to be part of a winning talk show. The best radio show in the country. Come on now. Come on.
Okay, before we talk about doing a list of things to watch.
Yes.
The big entertainment news story is around Warner Brothers and Netflix.
Yeah.
And we first got hint of it when all DSTV subscribers got an email and messages saying, listen, we're in negotiations, these channels, right? Now I thought it was 12 channels. Then I saw something saying 16 channels.
16. It's officially 16. I think by far this is the most shocking news in terms of film, television and streaming sites. So in the same time where they told us that 16 of these channels will be dropped and slashed. And mind you, the last time or day for you to watch all of these channels is the 31st of December. This is in effect as of yesterday. While we're still, coming to terms with that news, yesterday, I think even Saturday, as soon as Saturday, I heard that Netflix has acquired Warner Brothers, basically their channels, their production studios, and essentially their entire catalog of documentaries, children's content, and like I just said as well, production houses, which is a very big business move. We're talking almost a settlement of $87 billion.
Yo.
With dollars, not rands. It's scary. I don't even...
So here's the thing, right? There is the part of me which is like, what's going to happen to the industry? What does this mean for, the theaters and for film?
Yes.
At the same time, I also am like, I'm trying to do the glass half full view to say, what are the positives that could happen here?
Yeah.
We do have Netflix investing in quite a bit in African story
Lots of local
telling.
content.
We do know that even with this acquisition, it means that their repertoire is going to mean the African content is significantly smaller. Maybe it means more investment. We don't know.
Yes.
And I also don't know what that's going to mean for MultiChoice and DSTV.
So now that's the interesting part about it is that, and I don't think in anybody's future did they see that the number one streaming platform would be even able to afford as big of a catalog as what Warner Brothers has had. Warner Brothers is like one of the biggest studios that we have outside of like your Universal Studios as well. It's like part of the big five. They started television and film. So it's first of all the fact that they had all 16 channels. I just want to mention a few of them for those who are not familiar or don't really know. Channels that have actually been affected are channels like Discovery Channel, TLC, Cartoon Network, CNN International, Food Network, the Travel Channel,
HGTV.
Yes, Discovery Family, Real Time, Investigation Discovery.
Yeah.
Gone, slashed. However, if we do think about it from a positive perspective, if Netflix is acquiring this, and obviously it's going to take a while for us to see the effects of what this actually means for us as consumers, but this might also mean that now instead of you having too many choices and subscriptions, you might actually be able to watch a lot of your beloved channels and TV shows on one streaming site, which is what I believe and I think what Netflix is actually trying to do in terms of business strategy. But it's still such a big shock, and I don't know how it's going to affect a lot of people because, these channels were literally the channels that were keeping MultiChoice afloat. Obviously, outside of your super sport channels and sport channels, these were the main channels that a lot of people were into, and they were very niche as well. I mean, a lot of people like different types of content, and a lot of people were keeping DSTV because of these channels.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting dynamic in that new media is literally swallowing old media up and consuming all of its catalog. I'm excited to see what they're going to do from a business perspective, but the most excited from a content perspective of what we will be given. I think it, like you said as well, there are pros and cons to all of these things, but such an interesting dynamic. A lot of people are debating what channels they might add to Netflix. Should they add them, or what shows they'll start off with as well?
Yeah. And I mean, I did see that MultiChoice was saying they will find suitable alternatives should their negotiations not come through. But let's see. I'm always hopeful. Being an industry baby, I have to be hopeful. I don't have a choice. Let's talk about Wake Up Dead Man and Knives Out Mystery Champions.
Yeah, so Knives Out has actually been a very good franchise, I would think, for Netflix, for people who are into mystery dramas. I'm one of them. I really like trying to figure out what's happening because I do see plots of films or TV shows quite quickly. So something like this for me is always intriguing. The first two did really well. Glass Onion was the last one that we had. It had a mixed reviews to say that the mystery itself wasn't really worth the wait, but I still think you need to give it a try, especially if you want to tap into mystery dramas, and there aren't a lot. So I think they're also just trying to corner the market in terms of mystery films and mystery dramas. And so this is the third one. So it's Wake Up Dead Man, and this is the third installation of the murder mystery franchise, and it obviously includes our beloved detective who has to solve another mystery murder. So it takes place in a small town church, and it is star-studded, and I feel like it's a really good year for Glenn Close, and I did mention it the other day, and now I know why, because I've been like, I feel like she's been doing a lot, and she's even in the latest Hunger Games trailer. They did a really good job of like hiding her face with the prosthetics. I didn't even realize it was her until someone mentioned it. I was like, wow, she's in All's Fair, she's in Knives Out, she's coming back. I love this for her. Yeah, and she's also someone that I don't think has gotten her flowers as well. She's starred in so many things, and she's also very versatile in a lot of the projects that she does. But before I digress, so obviously it's being led by Daniel Craig, that we all know from the James Bond films, Kerry Washington, who we know from Scandal, Django Unchained, and also Josh Brolin, who we all know as Thanos from the Avengers films or even Dune, as well as Glenn Close, as well as Jeremy Renner from Hawkeye. And this is actually his first time back on screen ever since his incident, his snowmobile incident, where they had to like amputate a part of his leg as well. So I'm interested to see how they include his disability that he now has. It's not like he can't act just because, you know, of the incident. So I think it's very interesting. And I mean, he also had a lot of drama when it came to Hawkeye and how they discontinued his series. There was a lot of, it wasn't a really good parting on their end, but I think it's good that he's segueing back into acting, and good to see how this is going to end and happen. It's dropping on Netflix on the 12th of December. And like I said, I think just based on the cast alone, it should be something to look forward to. And yeah, it's definitely on my list this week to watch.
Avatar, Fire and Ash.
Avatar, Fire and Ash. I am so happy to actually finally, it's been a long wait. This is actually going to be the longest film that they've had of the Avatar series. For those of you who are not familiar, obviously Avatar is the James Cameron film that has brought us the most spectacular VX graphics that you'll ever see in your entire life. And it's essentially right now, it is obviously the longest Avatar film, running at 3 hours and 15 minutes. So before you watch it, please go do what you need to do, because you need to be set for it. And there's lots of details that they like to incorporate into it as well. Also, a fun fact about it is that 3,800 artists were hired to work on this one film. And to give you a perspective of how huge of a production this is, Avengers Endgame only had 2,500 artists. It's the biggest production, I think, to date when it comes to CGI, VFX, and very high tech produced film when it comes to something like this. And so, I need to just get into the premise of it as well. It's the third installment of the Avatar franchise. Jake Sully and his family basically are now facing a brand new threat on the planet of Pandora. And it's just a mix of, violence, tribalism between the Ash people as well as the Na'vi people. And you have to watch the first two, I feel like, because there are a lot of details that they incorporate. If you watch something that like Avatar, I really feel like they do such a great job in appreciating different cultures and trying to show how over time tribes and cultures tend to lose a lot of their nuances and importances. And in Avatar, what you see them doing really well is fighting for their culture, fighting for their land, fighting for their language, fighting to make sure that their piece of land is also protected. Someone said it's a really good
metaphor for real life.
Yes, and also, why am I forgetting that one animation with the Indian lady, Pocahontas? Someone said it's almost like an adult Pocahontas, but done well, where they don't actually hide all the bad stuff. They include all of the things that you're supposed to know about what's happening in the film. I can't wait for it. It's coming out next week on the 19th of December. I'm so excited. It is, I think, one of the biggest films to come out in the whole of December. Obviously, November was just creme de la creme. We were so privileged. We had Wicked and we also had Zootropolis, but now Avatar is taking the December month. Really curious to see how well it will do as well from a number perspective. Zootropolis from last week is actually now on 900 million in terms of revenue. So I'm actually curious to see how Avatar performs against something like an animation that nobody saw coming, that would do so well that it knocked out a bunch of very important films. So I think, it's very, very interesting for me to see how it's going to end. But definitely watch it. It's coming out next week on the 19th. Avatar, Fire and Ash.
And then finally, How to Ruin Love, the Lobola. You have a minute.
Yazin, I really liked it. It's obviously from the How to Ruin Christmas production team that we all know of. So the latest season about it is actually, it picks up from the last season of How to Ruin Love, The Proposal. And this is after Kagiso, who proposed to Zoleka. And obviously now they're taking the big step of finally getting married. They're going through the Lobola negotiations. The two families are obviously going to go head to head. As you all know, Lobola negotiations always have drama, comedy, fun, and most importantly, love. So I'm hoping that this will do well. It also stars Thando Tebeta, who's actually been very busy this year.
Listen,
she is a dark horse. I don't think people are realizing how many projects that she's done. But this is something that I really want to get into, and I really love it. How to Ruin Love, the Lobola.
All right, you have a lot to watch this festive season. Adelaide Moyeng, follow her on the socials, Movies and Stuff SA.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
As police search for gunmen who killed 12 people in Atteridgeville, National Commissioner Fani Masimula has called on officers to fast-track their investigation. Masimula is this morning expected to visit A. Shibeen at the Soulsville hostel where Saturday's mass shooting happened. 3 children between the ages of 3 and 16 are among the people killed, while other victims have been hospitalized.
It's understood the gunmen entered the establishment at around 4 o'clock in the morning and began shooting randomly at patrons.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
Experience a unique musical journey as the Mzansi National Philharmonic Orchestra presents its national tour, Voices of Home, featuring legendary conductor Marin Alsop and homegrown global sensation Abel Selakwe. The program includes Selakwe's 4 Spirits Cello Concerto, paired with Rachmaninoff's Romantic Symphony No. 2 concerts. Take place at Linda Auditorium on Wednesday, the 10th, and Thursday, the 11th of December. Book your tickets now at Quicket.
Every December, it's the same story. New toys, new clothes, and more takeaways. And by January, the bonus is gone. Grow it, don't blow it. With a Nedbank investment. Invest 100,000 Rand or more in a Nedbank 12-month electronic fixed deposit account and stand a chance to win 50,000 Rand. Invest your bonus and grow your future. See money differently. Nedbank. We're licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
You're invited to be part of Clement's 702 family meeting this Wednesday morning. Join us for a year-end review of the top news stories of 2025. Be part of the studio audience and take part in the conversation with 702 presenters and EWN reporters. If you'd like to attend, please do send us an email at contact@702.co.za. That's contact@702.co.za. We're looking forward to walking the talk with you.
702.
Travel.
8 minutes to 2 o'clock in our travel feature for today. We are going to be talking about 5 reasons to travel by train on your next overseas holiday. 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 and 702. Gabby Brandani, happy Monday.
Happy Monday, award-winning radio
Yes!
show host. Congratulations.
And thank you for being part of the team. We are so excited and we so appreciate all of your contributions, Gabby. Now, I feel like the DMs I've been sending you on Instagram have inspired part of this topic because I've been sending you these luxury train rides.
Exactly. Thank you for that.
Okay, so let's jump into the 5 reasons why one should consider traveling by train on your next overseas holiday.
Okay, cool. So the first point is that the journey really is part of the experience when you do choose to travel by train. Getting from A to B, it becomes a travel highlight rather than a bit of an inconvenience, to say the least. So taking a train in Europe could mean passing through snow-capped mountains and glaciers in Switzerland. It could pass through vineyards in Italy or lavender fields of southern France as you watch the landscapes unfold in real time. Further afield on the train side of things, Japan's bullet trains, they really give you breathtaking views of Mount Fuji between Tokyo and Osaka, while the Rocky Mountaineer, it takes you through the best of the Canadian Rockies. So wherever you choose to go, train travel almost encourages the art of slow travel, allowing you to really experience a place a little bit deeper than just passing through it or passing over it, as we often tend to do with the plane. We don't tend to see much when we're, of course, 30,000 feet in the air. So yes, journey is definitely a big part of the experience with train travel.
I have to say, one of the things I wasn't aware of, Gabby, because I haven't actually done a proper luxury train experience anywhere, including in South Africa, is that with this, you actually have to dress black tie to dinner.
With certain
With
types
some of them,
trains,
yes.
Yes. So some of the local ones, very, very zhuzhy. You do have to dress up, like very formal, very fancy. But I think that's also part of that, almost that 5-star train travel experience, which is something so special if you can afford to do it.
All right. So why is traveling by train a less stressful experience?
So if you've traveled by plane, of course, the whole airport experience, it can be a little bit stressful. You've got your airport queues, you've got security lines, you've got baggage restrictions. Traveling by train, it almost feels luxurious in the sense of its simplicity. So there's none of the hurry up and wait that comes with flying. With train travel, you simply arrive a few minutes before your departure, you step on board and you settle into your seat. There are also endless options in terms of schedules and destinations. If you're interested in an organized tour, there's even less hassle when it comes to travel logistics. So I know Contiki, for example, they offer a range of European train trips for 18 to 35-year-olds. So when you travel by train between cities like London, Berlin, Barcelona, and Paris, you'll also meet like-minded travelers.
And I think that is quite a lovely part of it, like what you say, is traveling with the like-minded travelers.
Yes.
And I like the part that it's also comfortable.
Yeah, so you've got your high-speed carriages to your vintage luxury trains, like you've mentioned. Train travel is really such a comfortable way to travel, if you're on a limited budget. So onboard amenities often include Wi-Fi, reclining seats, plug points to charge. You've got panoramic windows. You've got dining options, which are generally a little bit superior to certain in-flight meals. In places like Switzerland, you've got train travel, which pretty much epitomizes efficiency and elegance, as of course the Swiss are known for.
And definitely this part I can attest to, that traveling by train is actually a lot more social. It's not like a plane where you're quite cramped necessarily. You can still walk around and chat to people, and some of them have the lounges and dining room areas and things like that.
Absolutely, and that's also the thing. Like, it can be as social or it can be as individual as you want it to be. So you could quite easily sit in your pre-booked seat on your own and sort of like just enjoy your own little bubble. Or you can be as social as you want, go and meet new people, maybe eat at the little restaurant in the certain carriages. So yeah, it definitely tailors to all kinds of preferences.
Okay, if we talk about sustainability, the big word on everybody's mouths, brands included, why is it more sustainable?
Yeah, so traveling by rail, it's become one of the more sustainable ways to explore the world. So trains emit significantly less carbon per passenger than planes or cars do. And many of the European rail networks are increasingly powered by renewable energy sources. So if you are an environmentally conscious traveler and you do want to see the world without compromising on your values, choosing rail over air travel, it's one of the meaningful ways that you can do this. I know France specifically, they actually have a law banning short-haul domestic flights if there is a high-speed train alternative that exists
really?
Under 2.5 hours. Absolutely. So that I know impacted Air France because, of course, Air France had to reduce certain flights between French cities where there were train alternatives that took less than 2.5 hours, aiming to cut emissions. So that's really interesting.
Maybe from your perspective, why do you think it is, Gabby, that some people are not necessarily initially keen to travel by train?
I think because specifically coming from South Africa, I don't think we're used to the train travel experience unless you've been to Europe. I think there's probably some preconceived ideas about what train travel entails, but once you've been on it, it's personally one of my favorite ways to travel. It's so convenient. But we mentioned it briefly, going to the airport. Usually you're there 2 to 3 hours before for an international trip. When you're overseas, you can literally arrive a few minutes before your train departs, unless, of course, you're taking a Eurostar, for example, where you would need to pass through passport control. But even that only takes about anywhere between an hour and a half. So it's so much more convenient. I think it's just the unknown that we aren't familiar about train travel as South Africans because it's not so common for us here.
And there are so many countries. It isn't just like getting around Western Europe where trains are easy to travel with. There are so many other places around the world where a person is able to do so in a way that is sociable, comfortable, sustainable, sometimes luxurious, and also a journey and a trip in itself. Gabby, thank you so much. Where are we following you on the socials?
Thank you. I'm at Gabby Brondani across socials.
Gabby Brondani across all of the socials. That's Gabby with 2 B's.
Relebogile is on X at Relebogile M.
In the next hour of the show, Parenting and Parents feature, there is a discipline camp for kids in South Africa. Do you feel like your children need a discipline camp? And we will be chatting to them about what it is they do there. We'll also be joined by the Naked Scientist, so you can already get your science-related questions in. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Residents of Soulsville in Pretoria West are still reeling from a mass shooting that claimed the lives of 12 people, including 3 minors. On Saturday, 3 gunmen stormed a tavern at the Soulsville hostel and opened fire. A total of 25 people were shot, with minors aged 3, 12 and 16 amongst those killed. National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola is visiting the hostel this afternoon. MK Party Gauteng spokesperson Abel Tau says the incident highlights the alarming state of crime in the country.
It can't be that 12 people can be mowed down, 24 in total, and you have a situation where, all of them that were attempted to be murdered in this manner, and we did not pick it up as a country. There was no really, a vibration in the earth that those criminals should know that you will never attack our people in this manner.
The National Consumer Commission has issued another vehicle recall, this time affecting the Jeep Wrangler vehicles and various Kia models. This after Stellantis South Africa informed the Commission that it is recalling 323 Jeep Wrangler vehicles. According to the supplier, the dust inside the clock spring could compromise airbag circuits. At the same time, Kia South Africa says it is recalling a total of 18,600 vehicles from 5 different models of the group. The affected models require an ABS fuse replacement. NCC spokesperson Pheto Ndaba.
We request the drivers of the following vehicles: Kia Sportage SL and KM, Kia Sorento XM, Kia Optima TF, Cerato TD, as well as Kia Soul AM, to immediately contact their Kia approved dealerships to ensure that their vehicles are checked. This is after Kia South Africa informed the Commission that they are recalling a total of 18,600 vehicles.
Freedom Under Law has submitted an objection to the nomination of Menzi Simelane to seek reappointment as the National Director for Public Prosecutions. Simelane is the last of 6 candidates who will face interviews over the next 2 days this week. The selection panel appointed by the President is looking for a candidate to replace Shamila Batoyi, who retires next month. But Freedom Under Law says Simelane is not a fit and proper person for the job and should be disqualified from the process. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
Advocate Menzi Simelane is currently in private practice. He was appointed as head of the NPA in 2009, but the appointment was set aside by the Constitutional Court, which found then President Jacob Zuma's decision to have been irrational in light of the findings of the Ginwala Judicial Inquiry. Now Freedom Under Law is once again raising these points in its submission to the advisory panel, saying that since these findings have never been challenged, they still stand. These include that Simelane had misconstrued his role as Director General of the Department of Justice, that he withheld legal opinions from the Ginwala inquiry, gave contradictory testimony and made baseless allegations. Moreover, the Johannesburg Society of Advocates has also made adverse findings against Simelane stemming from his conduct at that inquiry, and he could face being struck from the role. Justice Department spokesperson Terence Manasseh says submissions made against any of the 6 candidates won't be revealed until they appear for their interview. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
The ANC says the shifting forces of power both locally and internationally mean that it must re-examine its policies and how they can be implemented. The party is currently holding its 5th National General Council at the Birchwood Hotel in Boksburg. The NGC is a midterm review to assess the progress the party has made in implementing the resolutions it adopted during its 55th National Elective Conference in 2022. ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa gave the political overview today, focusing on the changes in the balance of power, namely in the GNU, the alliance, as well as abroad.
Delegates are called upon to firstly reflect on the 30 years of democracy and secondly to assess the balance of forces and the current conjuncture. Thirdly, to characterize the nature of the crises we face and the implications for the NDR. And fourthly, to determine what should be done to address the challenges that we face as a nation and as an organization.
And a 74-year-old Dutchman who has been on death row in Indonesia for 17 years has been released from a Jakarta prison. He will be repatriated to the Netherlands on humanitarian grounds. Siegfried Metz was arrested and held behind bars for drug trafficking. He was sentenced to death in 2008 for smuggling 600,000 ecstasy pills into Indonesia. Indonesia has some of the world's toughest drug laws, but has moved to free several high-profile foreign detainees since last year. Gold is trading at $4,209.63 an ounce. The rand is at 16.98 to the dollar, 22.61 to the pound, 19.78 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $63.75 a barrel.
Leaving Kempton Park, heading towards Germiston, there's slow-moving traffic. This is on the R24 westbound between OR Tambo International Airport and Barbara Road. Look out for those faulty traffic lights. Edenville, Modderfontein Road, and Van Riebeck, as well as in Calvin at Old Pretoria Road and Northway.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng with scattered showers and thundershowers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 26 and 28 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: residents of Saulsville in Pretoria West are still reeling from a mass shooting that claimed the lives of 12 people, including 3 children.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Minutes after 2 o'clock, the second and final hour of 702 Afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja. We're going to jump straight into our parenting and parents feature. We're going to talk about discipline camp for children. We'll be joined by Prince Muko, and we will chat all about that discipline camp. I want to hear from you parents, caregivers, maybe even aunts and uncles as well that feel like you are struggling in the Department of Discipline. Then we wrap up with the naked scientist, Dr. Chris Smith, will join us and take all of your science-related questions for that conversation. So get in touch with us. Give us a call, 011 883 0702. SMS us 31702. Tweet at Relebogile M, at Radio 702 using the hashtag 702 Afternoons, and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
Parenting and Parents
on 702.
Parenting and Parents time on 702. I stumbled across a very interesting video, and as I do, I'm sure my producer's phone pings more than even her husband's, the number of messages I sent her. But I saw a video where kids were being given marching orders, carrying their luggage, being told to run, and I tried not to look too much because I also want to be as excited in this conversation with the rest of you. But it said a discipline camp. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that we have discipline camps like that. Let's get them on the show. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 7021 702. We are joined by Emperor General Camp Master of Discipline Camp, as well as the founder and CEO of Rising Stars Generation, Prince Muko. Prince, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us, Prince.
Thank you so much, Rila. How are you doing?
I am fantastic, and we're doing super, super well. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Good. Thank you so much.
All right, Prince, how did this discipline camp come about?
Discipline camp is actually funny. It started as a vision. It was when I was in high school, actually. I've always had this vision of transforming kids, but I didn't know it would be in this way. You get what I mean? Yeah,
So-
I'm a visionary. Yeah.
What did you see around you that made you think about this?
Yes. So most of the time when I answered that question, I was like, when I started this, I was angry, looking at how youth throw their future away, from just disrespecting the teachers in class, going to toilet and do smoke and run away, and people, and they get away with it, and people, it's okay for them, Teachers being powerless without doing anything, they can't say anything. A child could just swear at the teacher or fight at the teacher, all those kind of things. When you go around the streets, there's boys with guns, girls with babies, those kind of things bothered me a lot. Well, then when I started this organization, I wanted to take kids out of streets. We started to do arts, we started to do poetry and all those kind of things. But I couldn't get the behavioral problems. I couldn't fix the behavioral problems. These kids, there are 50 kids that I had, and they are doing great, but their attitude is so bad, So then I started to go do camping, get affiliated with Scouts, South African Scouts. I went to Scouts. Then that's when I had to learn about the camping thing. I had to become like a camp master, a troop scout, learn about camping and all that. And I remember I went to a military camp for like maybe 2 weeks or so to learn about how they work and all those kind of things, how they do discipline and stuff. Then I took some of the camp. Our camp are not military. I need to get that straight. Military is to train people to be strong and go on war. This is different. We're training kids to go on war with against their mindset. You get what I mean? So hence why I use the texts they use in military, and I need I need people to see that what we also post on social media is not all there is. We're posting that because of the marketing strategy. We're posting only problems. We're not posting people because now there's a lot of people they're copying our things. You get what I mean? But however, the goal is to teach young people ways of life and ways of God. But how can we do that? We need first to get them to obey, get them to follow instruction, and get them to be kids again for them to actually learn anything. Remember, these kids, they have anger issues. They've traumas from home. They come from abused families as well. They come from a disadvantaged background in terms of, crime. They only know crime, So they wear a mask. These kids, all of them are good. I have with them right now at the campsite, all of these kids are good. No kid is bad, no. And God does not blame a child from being rebellious. He blames the parents. That is why the only people I need, the people that I need with is parents, is to get with parents. And if I can get the parents right, then everything will be sorted. You understand what I mean? Then it is when I had to follow up, get to the root cause of, because I've been since 2019, I've been doing these camps and nobody knew because of I didn't get tagged, we didn't post and all those kind of things, you understand? And I've been doing these camps, transforming kids, but then kids go on relapse. I couldn't see which one is the problem. Then I had to do a research and discover 99.9% of the kids that are coming to our camp, they are fatherless. And these kids are lost. That is when I started to speak with parents. I was like, no. Fathers, stay at home. The reason why these kids are like this, they don't know, they struggle from identity. They suffer from identity. They don't know who they are. They don't know their purpose. They don't know that they become masters. They can have dominions over the earth. Then I have to go back to what God said to men. Have dominions over the earth. These young people, they don't know who they are. That is why they result in bullying. When they grow up, they'll beat their wife, they'll do all these kind of things. They use violence and anger and rage, crime, and all they know is to do wrong because the world is allowing it. Do you understand what I mean? They go and drink in pubs from 12 years old and nobody checks. You understand what I mean? And all of these kids, the only thing that they will mention when I start to reprimand them, I have a right to speak. Do you understand? When kids come to me, they'll be like, oh, what, who are you to talk to me like that? You can't talk to me like that. Now, who has taught kids these kind of things without teaching a child that you must learn how to speak? You must learn how to speak and you must be responsible. Okay.
So
you must learn to be responsible.
Let me ask you a question, Prince. Who are, when a parent decides to book their child, or if a parent is listening and they're thinking about it, what would you say is the child that qualifies for these camps? Because sometimes parents only look at, I'm going to say in inverted commas, bad behavior. And I would assume that we're speaking about maybe the teenage age group, which we're talking 13 and up. But maybe share with us who qualifies in terms of an age group. What are the criteria? Because maybe a parent is saying, I want to send my child for discipline camp where actually maybe they need a mental health intervention. Like, how do you even begin to assess which children should come there and which should not?
Good question. When I started this discipline camp, there was a clear vision that kids from 7 years old, as early as they can understand, that's when I can take it from there, because they can understand, they can able to do things for themselves. And until 21 years old, it is when they become in the stage of being a young adult. That is the criteria, that is the age that I work with. The program is meant and developed, is meant to work on those kind of mindset, because they have a certain mindset of being children. You understand? The discipline camp is meant for all children. The more children that can do physical activity that they can understand, you get what I mean? It does not matter the behavioral problems. God says train up a child in the way they should go when they grow up, and does not forget. Just because a child is behaving, the discipline camp doesn't have only behavioral problems. It helps with self-confidence. We actually do more leadership than we are on discipline. Discipline camp, discipline is only for a few days. Then after that is leadership skills. It's learning who you are. It's learning the how to live with people. It's learning the teamwork, not to be lazy. Kids they can be disciplined, but always on their phone. You understand what I mean? Nobody is there to teach them because parents think that they are good. When a child grows up, they have to learn. They have to grow up knowing the things their parents teach them. But if their parents teach nothing, or the children have no knowledge, but they're still behaving, when they become mature, that's when they get lost. That is why children, they misbehave teenage level, because as early as they can understand, from 7 years old, they were never taught morals because they were behaving. They were never taught discipline because they were behaving. You get what I mean? But now they are teenagers, they meet friends, they meet drugs, they do that and all those kind of things. So all kids, all kids are allowed to be in this, whether they are good, whether they are not. It is meant for them. It is meant for them to learn. You
And
understand
look,
what I mean?
I am looking at your website and I am so fascinated. I've seen the many activities that the kids participate in. So there's lots of physical activity. I see young people being able to participate in arts and cultural activities, to be able to become scouts. I see young people that are doing group activities, and on the list of things not allowed there, you explicitly, of course, say things like alcohol, drugs, weapons of any kind, but you also say cell phones and things like that. Now, what happens if a parent drops off their child? Let's talk about safety first. What do you do to ensure that the kids are safe? Because your shortest program is 5 days, 4 nights. And your longest one, we're looking at 21 days.
Yes. So what we do is that health and safety is always our priority. Before we start these kind of things, you need to check I had to learn that in the years while I was growing up while I was going this discipline camp. We have police
Prince,
on site.
just pause for 1 second because there is something happening with our network, but let me use this opportunity to ask of all of you to get in touch with us. 011-883-0702 and the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. Have any of you ever had to take your child to a discipline camp? I know there are different variations. There are those that also include the addiction specialist aspect to it. for young kids, but any kind of discipline camp, and maybe share what have you done with your kids to assist them with any of their behavioral issues. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
Parenting and Parents
on 702.
All right, 20 minutes after 2 o'clock, we continue in our Parenting and Parents feature as we chat to Prince Michael, founder and CEO of Rising Stars Generation, where he is the Emperor General Camp Master of the Discipline Camp. Now, Prince, we were struggling to lose you there, and I was talking about ensuring safety. I know that you're currently at a camp in the mountains, so I understand that the network may not be great, but let's go back to what you were saying about assuring parents of safety, especially if you're going to be sending a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old to go to a camp where there'll be older kids, that maybe younger kids are vulnerable. And on top of that, they can't even send a message to their parents because their cell phones are not allowed there. Oh, Prince, can you go back to where you were standing? Just move back to where you were standing when our conversation started up.
Okay, this is where I was
There
standing,
we go.
and-
There we go. Yes. Okay.
Okay, good. So firstly, we get police on site, and we get the ambulance also on site to make sure that things are coming well in it. We have departments in the camp. We don't just have instructors. There's defense unit, there's support unit, there's mental health unit, there's medic unit, there's instructors unit. So we have defense, which they're meant for security and to make sure that everything goes well within the campsite. So when the parents bring their child, we make sure that we search the kids. We can also have K9 unit as well that we also to search the bags in terms of drugs. After they did the search of drugs, then we do a thorough search. We take everything out of their bags and we search weapons, we search cell phones and everything. You know, the reason why cell phones are not allowed is kids need to learn and live without cell phones because most of them are addicted to it and they are killing their mind. So now we have to get the kids back from the root. To the root. So in terms of that, we search all their bags, make sure that they're all right. Remember, it is good to deal with kids. Kids, to deal with them are easy because why? We know the mindset and we know which one works for them. Then from then on, we are rude. We become rude and we become rude and unkind to them, just to check which one has short temper, which one does not, which one obeys, which one doesn't. We do that on purpose, especially on the 1 and 2nd days. They do all this exercise in a rude way. Why? Because we also need to let them know that we don't take nonsense. You might have whatever the violence that you have, it cannot. You need to stop. You understand? You'll find out that the kids that are here are disrespecting police than they are disrespecting us.
Oh, wow.
You understand what I mean? Because now they'll be like, yeah, what can you do, Mr. Officer? Do what you do. But when I come, then now it becomes a thing of, sorry, Mr. General, all those kind of things. You understand what I mean? I think we have a way of dealing with kids. Some of these kind of things I cannot explain. I don't understand. But you find out the child would cry and beat up the instructor. But when I come and speak to the child, then you need to hear. Because
so help me understand, Prince. What is the methodology? Because you made it clear that this is not military. We're not preparing kids for war. Né? But how do you get them to actually listen to you and follow instructions? Is it repetition? Is it consequences? And I know that you probably assess as and when, but what is the general rule of thumb? Because children will test your boundaries.
Yes, they do that on first days. You have to make sure that every house, what you do, you have to check what God says. You have to make sure that you put rules and laws in your house. Before a guest could come in, you need to let them know of the things that they must do, the things that they mustn't do. Do you understand what I mean? Remember, these kids, they are far away from home. They've been dropped and they're in the bush. We need to make sure that we firmly address these kind of things. The reason why we become rude is because we become firm. Because if you are taking your work serious. And if you let them know that you are serious with whatever that you work, their mind changes that, this is not like home. these are not our parents, and this is not like home. You understand what I mean? Then from then on, when we are firm in what they do, and we say, no, go, give us 10 push-ups, or give us, we are so serious. On the look of our face, we become so serious. And with them, while doing that, we teach them laws and the rules on how to live with each other. Then once that is installed, then they know that we're in the obey stage. They see us as adults, and they know that they're children. Then they go on the mat. There's a math class. I see other discipline camp, they're doing math and they're trying to code what we do. A math thing is not a discipline. It has nothing to do with discipline. A math thing is also a fun part, and we do on the mat because they need to go. They need to be children. They need to be led to be children. Children need to be children. Because why? They come here being act like sissies, act like adults, you get the little girls with nails and all that. You want to, try to. What we do is make sure that goes with the mat and everybody looks the same. Why? The adrenaline and all of them, it's just a matter of them giving up. That changes the mindset that, be in a camp mode. The old clothes that you had, you're no longer there, you're going to put on our uniform. Then they all look the same. You understand what I mean? Then from then on, they need to see us as role models. They need to see us as role models now. When you're teaching the word of God, when you're teaching the ways of life, why? Because they respect us. So if they respect us, they're bound to listen to us.
So let me go through, and I hear what you're saying, and a lot of the principles are coming from what the Bible shares. There's some questions coming through from our listeners. One, Shaldrin is asking if the camp caters for Muslim children. He has 2 boys that he is mentoring. Because I know that would apply to like diets and prayers and things like that.
Yes. So, yes, we do have Muslims on this. We are inclusive. You understand what I mean? But then remember, the camp is funded. We don't say we're Christians or whatsoever, but I use the Bible to teach ways of God. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal, and all those kind of things. So we're only using the principles. Principles, I think, that don't change. You understand what I mean? So we are inclusive. They bring their Quran. Muslims bring their Quran. And when this time, we pray about, 4 times a day, and Muslim kids they get excused, and then there's where they pray. You understand? All we eat here in the camp, we eat veggies. We have a cow that they slaughtered it for us, and we come there. They do that, and there's in terms of diet and whatsoever, there's where kids don't eat certain things, but they cook for themselves. And because they cook for them, they do pap and cabbage, soya beans, veggies, soup and bread, all these kind of things.
I love that's my favorite part about what the camp does is it forces the kids to participate and being part of a group. Like everybody must participate in what needs to happen. There's a question that says, does this discipline camp use exercise as a form of punishment?
So now, punishment and correction do different things. You understand what I mean? So now, when we say that we're correcting a child, if you've done something wrong, sorry, they need to give us 100 push-ups, they need to go around and all those kind of things. We call that we're correcting you. A child, because you've done 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, this is how you need to go. You don't just do things and get away with it. This is how the world is. When you go to school and swear the teacher, they might not do anything, yes. But then that does not mean that will come out in you, that will eat you up. Because you might swear someone and take a gun and pull your head. You understand what I mean? So they need to learn consequences of whatever that they've done. Even if they just say, or sis, or those kind of words.
Yes.
We don't want them to practice those words.
And any kind of bad attitude, basically.
Yes, we take it very serious. Why? Because of this is what the mind is, the stuff that they have in their mind. They need to be flushed out because these kids, they wear a mask of what the world allows.
I want to read another message from Kiso, who says, "Oh my goodness, Relebogile, I just dropped off my son at Rising Stars. I must say I was a bit anxious the entire weekend and emotional when we dropped him off. But I trust and believe that he's in good hands, and we appreciate Prince's services." Prince, in closing, you have about 30 seconds to have your final thoughts with our listeners.
Yes. Those who are listening, Proverbs 22 verse 6, teach the children ways of life and ways of God when they grow up and not forget. Fathers, stay at home. You don't go around and have kids and leave them. Without you, 99% of the crime that is happening in the world is because of the lackness of fatherness. So be at home and father the children. You'll see we'll have a great nation. These camps would not going to be exist if we have more of parenting, we have more of fatherness. There's a lot of men out there, but they don't qualify as a father. Go back to your creator and go back to your children and father the children and love your children as always. Buying things and buying gifts is not a form of love, but correcting a child, that is love. That's what the Bible says.
Thank you so much, Prince, for chatting to us, Prince Moko, who is founder and CEO of Rising Stars Generation. If you want to see the work that they are doing and find out about their camps, head over to risingstarsgeneration.com. It's 2:30, time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Relebogile. Good afternoon. A family that lost 3 children in a mass shooting in Salisville, west of Pretoria, says the gunman entered a bedroom and opened fire on the children. 12 people were killed when 3 attackers stormed a tavern at the Salisville hostel on Saturday morning. The minors aged 3, 12 and 16 were sleeping in the bedroom at the time. NPA head Shamila Batoyi has distanced herself from the terms of reference of the inquiry looking into Joburg prosecution's boss Andrew Chauke's fitness to hold office. Batoyi says the terms of reference provided by President Cyril Ramaphosa are different to a draft she submitted. She has been cross-examined at the inquiry by Chauke's legal representatives today. And ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa says the party suffers from a disease of not implementing its policy resolutions. Ramaphosa has been speaking at the party's 5th National General Council, which is taking place at the Birchwood Hotel in Boksburg. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 3 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, in the Kempton Park, Isando area, we have those roadworks slowing down traffic R24 westbound. This is between OR Tambo International Airport and Barbara Road. Otherwise, the rest of 702 land not looking too bad. No serious accidents have been reported on our highways. Things are looking pretty good. Just look out for those faulty traffic lights. In Edenville at Modderfontein Road and Van Riebeek, traffic lights also out of order. In Melrose at Collet and the N1 and the M1 North, as well as in Bramley at Collet and Scott. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Africa Milani.
Weekday mornings,
4 to 6.
Do you agree with the president that this is an important gathering of the membership of the ANC?
I think that the ANC finds itself at a crossroads at this point in time, and the NGC actually signals the ANC has entered a very crucial phase in its organization.
Hlumelo Xaba, political analyst. The deputy president, Paul Mashatile, saying that the gathering of the ANC will not discuss leadership changes, saying that President Cyril Ramaphosa will remain in office until the end of his term, with leadership matters reserved for the 2027 National Conference.
Africa Milani.
4 to 6 on 702.
At Auto & General, we understand your business is built on more than just vehicles. It's your stock, tools and equipment, and the premises where you work. Auto & General Business Insurance is designed for businesses like yours, protecting your assets against fire, theft, storms, and other unexpected events. To protect your livelihood, visit autogen.co.za and get an obligation-free business insurance quote. Auto & General, never not there. Auto & General is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We're also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comment, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we're not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission, PO Box 412365, Craig Hall 2024. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
On 27 November 2025, Cell C listed on the JSE as one of the top 30 most valuable brands in the country, according to Kantar Brand Z 2024. This is a big change for the brand, its customers and investors alike. This week, 702 is in conversation with Cell C, and they will share the reason behind going public, how it will affect you as the customer, what value it brings to the investors, and more. Stay tuned to 702 in conversation with Cell C this Tuesday on The Money Show with Stephen Grootes between 6 and 8 p.m.
Coming up
on 702 Drive with John Perlman.
702 Drivers coming up from 3 to 6 p.m. John, happy Monday. How are you doing?
Doing well, thanks. I hope you were celebrated on Sunday. Was there a little parade down your street?
Yes. And in Limpopo, they're expecting myself and Abel for a welcoming party in Mozambique. Good. They're waiting for Pashida's arrival.
I was going to say, and Pashida as well.
Whole arrival, but no, it's so fun. If anything, I wish there was a way we could celebrate with all of the listeners, because really talk is nothing without listeners, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So but well done to all of you. It's great.
Yay. Thank you so much. What's coming up on your show today?
So coming up on the show, and good afternoon to all our listeners, by the way, ANC's National General Council is underway. Tabiso Goba is there. We'll talk to him at about 3:25 and then get the thoughts of Ferrell Haffajee. She's written some very interesting stuff in Daily Maverick, and she's covered the ANC for literally decades. We're going to go back on a story from last week, but get a US perspective directly on this, talking to Scott Fersing, who is an analyst based in Houston in Texas. And, South Africa-US relations, choppy week last week. There's a long road ahead. We'll get his take on what a reset, if there is to be one, will look like. Very interesting and important story around the fact that baby-saving devices were made illegal, a safe space where someone who is abandoning a child can actually leave that. That was made illegal, and there's now data saying that numbers of abandoned children, infants in dangerous spaces has gone up, with some deaths resulting. We'll talk about that in a lot more detail at 10 minutes to 4. And then news of a recall of 18,000 Kia vehicles.
It's so many.
It's a huge number, but I was also thinking, Relebogile, about the time of year, because, if my car is off the road in August, it means one thing, but if it happens in December, that particular Kia was perhaps meant to take grandchildren to stay with grandma in rural Northwest, or it was meant to get the family to a little cottage that you've booked on the north coast of KZN. This is vehicle time. It's premium, prime vehicle time. I mean, I don't know. First of all, I don't know how quick the fix is. We're trying to get Kia to come on the show. If not, we'll get analysis.
Yeah, and I think that's a big one, because a family might need to decide, are we going to be taking the risk and using the car as is? Or are we going to be without a car? Because in this economy, I can't imagine many people are in a position to just go and rent a car to be able to use over the festive season.
And don't forget that people who were using their vehicles to go away will have already spent their holiday money in part, because they would have pre-booked places, deposits have been paid. It's big.
All right, we will definitely be tuning in to 702 Drive from 3 to 6 p.m. to find out all about it with John Perlman.
702.
The Naked Scientist.
Time for The Naked Scientist with Dr. Chris Smith, one of our most fabulous contributors to the show. 011 883 0702 in the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. Dr. Chris Smith, welcome to our award-winning talk show.
I'm really touched to be one of what did you just call me? I'm amazed.
Yeah, I don't even remember, but I just know that you.
I was touched.
You
I was
play
really touched.
A very big part for this particular show, because even when you are not on air, people are asking and sending messages for when Dr. Chris is on air. When I'm at home, I get asked, please ask Dr. Chris this question. So you form a very big part of this team, and the win we extend to you.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, well, congratulations, everyone involved.
All right, let us kick off with some of the questions that are coming in on 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 and 702. Tembi asks, Doctor, is there a cure for stuttering? The reason I ask is because some people can stop stuttering altogether, but some don't. What causes this?
We don't know exactly why people stammer or stutter. And for people who are not in the know, this is where people attempt to initiate saying a word, but then almost trip up and start again, and it's involuntary. And we know that this gets a lot worse when a person's under pressure. So when they're stressed and when they know they've got to say something and be heard and people are listening to them, the stress levels go up and it seems to disclose it much more. If you stop people listening to themselves so they can't hear what they're saying, and this was demonstrated in the film The King's Speech, where headphones were placed on the stutterer, in this case the king, and he couldn't hear what he was saying and found his delivery was fluent. So neuroscientists speculate that this may be some kind of internal feedback effect, because you can make people stutter and stumble if you play themselves back to themselves with about a half a second delay. And you'll know this, Lebo, when you're on the radio, if someone accidentally presses the wrong button on the desk and instead of giving you a feed of what you're saying with no delay, you get what's gone to the transmitter, so you get about a half a second delay back of yourself. You cannot string two words together. It has a horrible hijacking effect on your ability to speak fluently and fluidly. Now, what's probably going on is that in the brain, when we know we're going to do something or say something, the brain forms a pattern of what it expects to happen when you do that thing. For instance, if I know I'm going to move my arm, I know that I'm going to experience sensations of my arm moving and it will be in a new position. So I know where it will be in my vision, I know where it will be as far as my muscles are concerned. And it's part of the reason you can't tickle yourself, because you know when you make that movement, there's going to be, with a certain delay, a sensation coming back into your brain corresponding to moving your fingers, tickling your leg, and therefore you don't find it at all surprising or shocking. You're not tickled. But if someone else does that, you have no way of planning ahead for what they're going to do and when those sensations are going to arrive, so you feel that you respond to them. Now, it might be that speech is similar, whereby if you pay attention to what you're saying, you go wrong. And if the timing isn't quite right with how the brain is processing what's coming in and matching it up to what you expect to come in, because it's listening for things going wrong so it can correct them, it then trips everything up. And that's why if you divorce yourself from the ability to hear yourself, you'll find that you become much more fluent if you do stutter. And also reducing stress, because stress makes any kind of neurological thing worse. And sometimes some people are taught exercises where by controlling breathing and preparing the movement in your head in advance that your tongue is going to make to get a sentence going, because once you're going, it's usually fine, that can often make things a lot better. So we don't know exactly why it happens, but we suspect it's a sort of self-censoring internal monitoring circuit that's kicking in and tripping people up when they pay attention. And I had a really interesting conversation with the rock musician Rick Wakeman, who played in the band Yes and very successful in his own right. He lives not far from where I live. And I talked to him once and I said to him, why is it when you're on stage and you're making these amazing pieces of music, you play with your eyes shut? And he said, because if I open them, I go wrong. And what he's getting at is as soon as you watch, because your visual system has a much bigger delay, it takes about a fifth of a second to process what your eyes see and present that to your consciousness. That's too slow for what your motor system is doing to make your fingers move really fast over the keys to play an incredibly fast piece of music. So if you watch, then you hold yourself up, you trip yourself up and you go wrong. So in Rick Wakeman's case, he closes his eyes. If someone were having a stammer problem, maybe they should try closing their ears and learning that way, and they might find it goes away.
I definitely love that suggestion, Dr. Chris Smith. Let's head over to Jabu in Piet Retief. Jabu, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Lebu and Dr. Chris. My question is this. Is it a must that guinea fowl's eggs should have freckles? I'm asking this because we know the difference between guinea fowl's egg and chicken's eggs. The chicken's eggs are very smooth. And I discovered in my chicken coop a few days ago eggs that looks exactly like guinea fowls, but they don't have the freckles. And I'm wondering whether who they belong to between the chickens and guinea fowls. Thank you so much.
Oh, interesting one, Jabu. Thank you.
Yeah, interesting. Well, guinea fowls taste nice, actually. Not many people have eaten them in the UK, but it's mainly an African thing. But I like them, and I find they taste really good. And are you a fan? You a guinea fowl fan?
I don't think I've tasted it as an adult, so I don't even remember what it tasted like as a kid.
Oh, it's good.
So
yeah,
I need to do that.
It's nice meat. It's nice meat. Yeah, go and have a go. But I've never seen a guinea fowl egg though. So I don't know about the freckle pattern, but the reason eggs have freckly patterns on them is because those are carotenoids. They're pigment patches, which are put onto the egg as the egg is formed up inside the bird. Birds have evolved to have speckledy eggs for a number of reasons. One can be camouflage, but the other is visual recognition, because birds recognise the patterns on their own eggs, and it's probably a mechanism against parasitism. Cuckoos, for example, come along and they kick out the native eggs and put their own in the nest so that the parent birds bring up someone else's, the cuckoo's chick. And birds, reed warblers, can see these eggs are wrong because the speckle patterns can be wrong. So sometimes the speckles are there for that reason. Chickens don't universally produce speckly eggs, and they don't produce non-speckly eggs either. I've got hen's eggs, I've got boxes of them here, which some of them are brown and speckledy, some are white and smooth. Guinea fowl, I don't know. So if anyone can put me right on whether guinea fowl eggs are smooth and non-freckled or speckled, or if they're speckly eggs or can be both, I would love to know, because I've never seen a guinea fowl egg. I've only ever seen a guinea fowl that I ate.
Interesting question. Thank you for that, Jabu. Please do, if anybody has the answer, share with us. Kabelo from Pretoria, go ahead.
Good afternoon, Lebo. This is Kabelo from Pretoria. My question for Dr. Chris is, can you please explain the relationship between weight gain or lack of inability to lose weight and lack of sleep?
Ooh.
I know there's involvement of a hormone called cortisol there, but if you can just explain how does lack of sleep influence weight gain or lack of weight loss?
Oh, thank you so much, Kabelo.
Got you. Yep, there is a connection, and it's not so much the hormone cortisol, which comes from your adrenal glands and is your wake-up hormone. Cortisol is produced via a signal from the brain. So your brain produces a signal from your pituitary, which goes in the bloodstream to your adrenal gland and says, turn on the cortisol signal. This thing goes to every cell in your body and it wakes you up. So it's your wake-up signal, and it begins to surge in the early hours of the morning and wakes you up. So if you are waking up too early, this can be because your cortisol levels are too high. This can be because you are stressed or depressed, because people with stress and anxiety can often complain of poor sleep. Now, they also often complain of weight gain or weight loss sometimes, but more commonly weight gain. And one explanation is, well, people comfort eat. When they're a bit down, they eat nice things, especially sugary things, because this boosts mood and makes you feel a bit better. But also, it might be because there is another hormone here, which is called ghrelin, G-H-R-E-L-I-N, ghrelin. This is produced from your stomach, and it's actually a hunger hormone. You turn off ghrelin when you sleep, and probably because if you were to wake up in the middle of the night hungry, you wouldn't get a good night's sleep. So when you sleep, your body turns down the production of ghrelin. But it's normally produced in response to hunger, empty stomach, empty intestines, and it goes to your brain and says, I feel hungry, feed me. And when you sleep, you turn it off. So therefore, part and parcel of being a bit down and depressed and gaining weight can be because people don't sleep properly. Poor sleep, impaired sleep, too little sleep leads to higher levels of ghrelin, the hunger hormone, which leads to higher levels of appetite, which ultimately translates into higher levels of intake, especially of calorie-rich and bad-for-you foods, which are the ones usually most associated with gaining weight.
Oh, thank you so much for that one. So yes, lots of good sleep to assist in that department. There's an interesting question here, Doctor, which reads as follows. When you drink alcohol with 5% times 6, does it make it 30% or is it still 5%? If not, why does the drinker get more drunk as he drinks more and more? That's Holla in Kempton Park.
Hi, Holla. Always drink responsibly, of course. But the answer is the 5% means out of that drink, 5% of the liquid is alcohol. So in other words, if I had a glass and it had 100 millilitres of that drink in it, 5 millilitres would be pure alcohol. So if I drink one glass of that, I'd get 5 millilitres of pure alcohol. If I did that 6 times, I would get 6 times 5 equals 30 millilitres of pure alcohol. So I would get more drunk because my total dose of alcohol would be 6 times higher. But the amount I was drinking as a proportion of the total fluid intake would still be 5%. So the 5% refers to how many grams of alcohol there are in 100 millilitres of the drink. And the amount of alcohol in total that you take in, the absolute amount, is what determines how drunk you get. So if you drank a glass of whiskey, which is about 40 or 50% alcohol, half of what you were drinking would be pure alcohol, half water. Whereas if you drank beer, it's about 5%, then only about 5% of that would be pure alcohol and the rest would be water. So you can quite quickly see the total dose of alcohol is what makes you drunk, and therefore the stronger the concentration of alcohol in the drink, the less total volume you need to consume to get the same dose of alcohol and therefore produce an effect of drunkenness.
Oh, thank you so much for that question. Some people in studios' ears perked up, Dr. Chris, when you were talking about alcohol and percentages. I think they were trying to measure, does it make sense to buy spirits or to buy beer or buy cider? I won't say who in studio.
Buy what you
somebody.
like and drink responsibly.
There we go.
And South African red takes some beating, doesn't it? Some of those reds that South Africa produces are the best I've ever drunk. So that would be my tipple.
All right. Titus in Tierfontein is asking about the sound barrier, saying, please explain the sound barrier and what it means when you break the sound barrier.
Right. Well, the speed of sound in air is whatever it is, 100 metres per second. I can't remember the exact number. But basically that is how fast a sound wave travels in the air. What's a sound wave? Imagine a spring, like the spring on your car, or a slinky spring that you played with as a child, with loops of the spring. And imagine that you pull a couple of the loops towards yourself between your finger and thumb and let them go. You would see the spring recoil, and each bit of the spring would ping out and it would spread along the length of the spring and then come back towards you. That's what a sound wave does. It's called a compression wave in the air. So when I'm speaking to you, for example, I'm pushing air out of my mouth. It's pushing into the air in the room, and the vibrations are making the air molecules shake around, and they bounce into the ones in front of them, which then bounce into the ones in front of them, which then bounce into the ones in front of them, and it makes its way through the air across the room to you, and then it makes your eardrum vibrate, and those vibrations are translated into your inner ear, where you turn them into brain activity so you can decode what I've just said. So that's a compression wave. The rate at which that happens is the speed of sound in air, the rate at which those molecules can convey that sound across the room. Now let's imagine that I make a sound that actually is going faster than that. Well, if you've got, say, a very loud explosion or an aircraft travelling very quickly, the sound waves that explosion's making are making the air move faster than the sound can move away from the source. So instead of the sound waves coming out at a steady rate, what's happening is the sound waves are effectively catching up with each other and making a bigger and bigger pressure wave, which is why we then hear a very loud bang, because instead of those waves arriving at your ear in a nice steady sequence, they've all mounted up together and made a big wave which makes a bang when you hear it. And that's what breaking the sound barrier is. When you go faster or you make sound and sound comes towards you from something that's moving faster than the sound can travel through the air, the waves effectively all catch up with each other like a traffic jam and arrive as one big wave all on top of each other at you, rather than an orderly sequence, which is why you then get the popping noise.
Thank you so much for that question. We've got a voice note.
Hi, Relebogile and Dr. Chris. Just a quick one. For the condition called trigeminal neuralgia, how efficient or how effective is the treatment that's available? Is it something that one has got to learn to live with for the rest of their lives, or can this be treated successfully? Ashwin in Velterfreden Park.
Okay, it's been a while since I've thought about this, so I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to say something vague this week, and I'm going to have a think about it to make sure I don't forget things, and I'm going to come back next week and fill in the gaps, okay? But this is nasty. Trigeminal neuralgia really is debilitating for people. It's called what it is, trigeminal, because the nerve that supplies your face and your head is your trigeminal nerve, cranial nerve number 5. It's got 3 branches to it, the one that supplies your chin and the lower part of your face, the middle part of your face, and then your forehead and on top of your head. And anything that damages the nerve can lead to pain in the distribution of those branches of the nerve. And one common place this happens is with chickenpox virus or also with herpes simplex virus. They damage the nerve because the virus is active in the nerve, and it then leads to referred pain, which is neuropathic pain. In other words, there's nothing wrong with the tissue. It's the nerve firing off activity when it shouldn't, leading you to experience sensations in the area of the body supplied by that nerve, when in fact there's nothing wrong with that part of the body. It's spurious signals in the nerve. And it was so bad back in history that people didn't have drugs to treat this. What they would do is actually try and cut the nerves where they were connecting to the brain to try and stop the signals. Now that can work to an extent, but what it tends to do is leave you completely unable to feel anything in the distribution of the nerve branch concerned. So you'd substitute numbness for painfulness. So it's not exactly ideal, and it would sometimes then cause outbreaks of other herpes viruses, again like herpes simplex cold sores in the branch that's been cut. Now with all neuropathic pains, a proportion of them do get better, and if they're left alone, they will just go away. Some don't go away, some can be inexorable and can be extremely disabling. But there are some drugs that can be tried, and the problem is all these drugs have side effects. And usually those side effects include making people feel a bit woozy or sleepy. They can also have other things such as they affect sensation more generally, or they can make you feel a bit wobbly. But they include things like amitriptyline, the antidepressant. At low doses, this can affect nerve signaling, and you can get some relief with that, and some people try that. And then there are drugs like gabapentin, which is a GABA-like drug, which some people try and which can produce some benefit. But again, these can have quite considerable side effects, and they do leave people asking themselves whether the treatment is, worse than the disease in some respects. But if I can find anything else about this, I'll come back next week with an extra top-up of knowledge, because, as I said, I want to make sure I've given you a good comprehensive answer to this one.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Chris Smith. We appreciate you wanting to come back and give us additional information and feedback. We will put away all of your questions, but I do have a message to read before you go, Dr. Chris Smith. Karen says, a big congratulations. Really awesome show. Dr. Chris is a genius. Fascinating show always. Please keep going. Let us all celebrate. Much love.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you so much, and thank you to you, Dr. Chris Smith.
There's a new way to experience all your favorites. Pulse Africa, the 24/7 fast channel, now live on primemediaplus.com and the Prime Media Plus app, bringing you the best of Prime Media around the clock. Watch the biggest moments from 702. It's non-stop entertainment and authentic African storytelling, all from Africa's leading media network. Pulse Africa, only on the primemediaplus.com and Prime Media Plus app.
It's amazing what Help can do. Help can take you from smart money moves to smart gadgets and household must-haves. With an FNB Premier Credit or Fusion card, get up to 40% back in e-bucks on devices and appliances. Open any FNB Premier account today, celebrating 25 years of helping you live the Premier life. FNB, help changes everything. TC's earn rules apply while stocks last. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
So, Tims, what would you say? Is Bongs more of a sports betting man or a casino player?
Doesn't matter what I think. Fact is, whatever he chooses, he's got a chance to scratch and win.
What do you mean?
Betway Scratch is back, bigger than ever, and giving everyone the chance to beg a share of a guaranteed 1.5 million rand in daily prizes, along with 4 brand new cars.
Whoa, it's the season of scratching and scoring. Only at betway.co.za.
Betway is licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No persons under the age of 18 are permitted to gamble. NRGP counseling line 0800 006 008. All events are fixed odds betting games.
You're listening to 702 Afternoons
With Relebogile Mabotja
winner for the best talk show
at the Telkom Radio Awards.
Thank you so much for tuning in, for celebrating us. We give you permission to go celebrate yourselves now for being one of the team members on 702 Afternoons. And I also just want to mention one more thing. Outside of talk, we actually do stuff here with one another. We've supported so many listeners. And I think that's truly our favorite part, is there is a community aspect to the commercial radio that we are doing. And we really do show up for one another, 702 family. That is one of the things I absolutely love about you all. So have your next drink on me. It's 3:00.
This is EWN.
Children killed in Pretoria mass shooting were asleep at the time, and officers urged to seek professional mental health care. Good afternoon.